Hereby called to order. As you are able and willing, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Give a second.
Thank you.
Good evening, especially to those of you at home. Thank you all for coming.
Just pause for a second, give Kate a chance.
And give
Kate 1 second.
Kate,
Oh, we lost Kate. I'm sorry. Yes, we
Yeah.
absolutely.
coming.
We sit in recess for a moment. I missed that, sorry. And now we are called back to order. Let's see, we have no one here to give public comment, so we'll move right into the report of the secretary. May I have a motion, please, to approve the minutes of our last regular meeting?
I move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of Monday, June 24th, 2024.
I'll second.
Second. Kate, thank you. Any comments or questions? I went through them earlier today. They look sterling as usual.
Yep.
Amazing.
All in favor? That's 4-0. Thank you. That brings us to the report of the chair. First up, school board meeting dates. You have a copy of a proposed school board meeting date calendar in your packet. The open question, it looks like, is the second meeting in February because of February vacation. And the question is, do we do it on the 12th, which is right after the meeting of the 5th, or wait 3 weeks and do it on the 26th, which will then put us a week from the March 5th meeting? Does anybody have a preference on that, looking at calendars?
Doesn't matter to me.
212 or 226?
Right.
I think it matters right now. What do we usually do?
The first and third, so it would be like the 19th. I think this year we did the week before.
Yeah.
I will, if you don't mind.
Go, please.
I would rather go the 12th, just
Yeah.
because that next 3 weeks is going to be a little bit action-packed as we are going to be presenting the budget, the first
Right.
meeting in March.
Yeah.
So that gives us some time to be able to get some data together.
Yeah.
Makes some sense.
And so if we could do the 12th, I think that probably would give us a little bit more time, Ryan.
Let's make it the 12th.
Perfect.
Can I, if you don't mind, Joe, part of this calendar is that there's a slight change in May, and it's under my report. Do you mind if I do your report with you? We could kind of combine. I'll just talk about the other issue right now.
Go ahead.
We were approached by Wendy Roski from Elliott, just with some concerns around absentee ballots when it came to our district budget meeting and the timing of that. And so she has asked us if we could move that meeting earlier to allow the absentee ballots to go out in a timely manner and meet her. The problem is she has a window that she has to comply with. We have a window that we have to comply with. Those windows don't line up in the same house, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So what I would like to propose is that we have a meeting on the 7th of May, and then on the 14th, we would have the district budget meeting, which is a week later. That would require, the only caveat to that would be is that after we have that meeting, Ryan would have to post the budget that evening, because we have to have the budget posted for 7 days. By going the 14th, that gets Wendy within striking distance of being compliant with her absentee ballot mandates. It keeps us within our 30-day mandate by the state of Maine for the school budget. So I think that's probably the sweet spot for us to go.
Okay.
And so if that would make sense, the 14th would probably be good, and that way we can try to line up a moderator sooner rather than later.
Okay.
Is that okay with
It
the
makes
board?
perfect sense
Okay,
to
does that
me.
work for you?
14th?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you.
That's fine.
Okay. Any other questions about the school board meeting dates? Otherwise, mark your calendars. Okay, next. I'll just mention briefly that we have just exited a board workshop in which we discussed proposed goals for the district for the coming school year. We had an excellent conversation across a variety of areas, some of which were very data-driven, math and science scores and things of that nature, attendance, some of which were more, I guess I would call it narrative-driven around, what was the first one? The one in particular that Oh, the safe learning environment, which of course we've done a number of steps and continue to do. So, very good workshop. I think we all agree that we're very close to aligning around what will be the district goals for next year. Time well spent. Thirdly, last time we met, I mentioned that it was the time of year where we each look at the board bylaws and decide if there's anything in there that we wanted to propose to see changed. Have any of you come up with any changes that you'd like to see in the bylaws? Okay, good.
Yeah,
Then
we
we'll
did
leave
a
it
lot
there.
of updates, a few years ago now.
Yes,
and
yeah, we did.
I think we
Yep.
did a pretty good job.
Yep, great. Okay, that concludes my report and brings us to the report of the superintendent.
Thank you very much. I wanted to start off with a facility update. Those of you who have not seen, there's been a boom lift outside of the Marshall Great Works School for the last 2 weeks. We are in the process of fixing the leaking clock tower. And so that's been a project we've had on our radar for a little bit over a year. We're excited that we hope that will be done within the next week or so. Once that's completed, we will try to get the clock fixed, but to try to find a person that works on clocks now is not like it used to be, so this could be interesting. So we're in the process. I think we're in a good place, but we've done a lot of work. We also had a cracked pipe at Elliott Elementary School that has been repaired. That recently happened last week, and so we have repaired that. And then next week, you should see some major construction taking place at the entrance of Marshwood High School, where we will be making a new direct access to the school office entrance that will be used during the day. This will allow us to be able to better monitor the guests that come into the building. They'll have to come directly into the office, they'll sign into the office, whereas now if people enter the building through the 4 doors, they have direct access to the entire building, and that's just not really a safe learning environment for us to be able to monitor that. So stay tuned, if you would please. We also are in the midst of some major renovations when it comes to our video cameras and door entry pads, and so that's really been a great deal of work using our grant that we applied for. So we are highly involved with that, and we'll be using a lift to be able to do some of the outdoor cameras shortly. So next, this is a little bit tricky to explain, and I'm going to do the best that I can because there's a lot of words that I'm going to have to use, so forgive me. Last year, the start time at Marshall Great Works School was 8:10. That was the official start time. The official end time was 3:10, so it was a 7-hour school day, 4 days a week. Central School started at 8:20 and ended at 3:20. And so the difference was because we wanted to give 10 minutes for buses to be able to get between Marshall Great Works School and and Central School. What we were finding, though, is that it's so tight with our bus runs because regardless of what we do, there's no way to get around the fact that we have to send buses out to Thorough Road. And that's going to take time, no matter how we do that. And so we were having buses that were arriving at Marshall Great Works School anywhere between 8:05 and 8:08. And so those kids are getting to school not being able to have breakfast, and so they would go to breakfast, and that would really basically push back the start of school time by 5 to 10 minutes every day. And so what we also found out was that in the afternoon from 3:10, when Marshall Great Works School was dismissed, until 3:20, kids were sitting on the buses for about 5 to 7 minutes waiting for Central School to dismiss. And that's just not a great environment for our students. And so that was an issue in the afternoon. The other issue is that some of the buses were getting to school at the Great Works School early, and kids were sitting on the buses waiting for Great Works School to open in the morning, and so that created another set of issues. So we're trying to solve 3 problems in one swoop. And so what we've done is we are going to push back the start time of Marshall Great Works School to 8:15. And so it's a 5-minute shift. We're not changing any of the bus routes. The bus routes will remain the same, but that 5 minutes will give kids an opportunity to go have breakfast, get back and be able to start school at 8:15 with their morning meetings rather than losing those minutes of instructional time. And so we just want to be mindful of being able to maximize the instructional time that we have in that day and using that 7 hours to the best of our ability. So that 8:15 start time will push the dismissal time to 3:15. That will take care of the issue of the students coming from Marshall Great Works School going to Central School, not having to sit on the bus for 5 to 7 minutes when Central School is dismissing. That solves that problem. And then what we did was we realigned some of our bus duty coverages at some of our other schools and basically siphoned off 2 additional duty positions at Marshall Great Works School. So currently, or last year, they had 2 people on duty in the morning. We're going to double that to 4, and so that there's a space now, if kids get there, they can go someplace rather than sitting on the buses as kind of waiting for the school to open. So there'll be places where people can go, because we have 2 people outside kind of greeting cars as they kind of go through the circle. They kind of, almost like the airport drop-off.
Yep.
And so we will now have 2 staff members to be able to be within the building, so the kids don't have to sit on the buses and wait until, you know, the official start of the school day for everybody else. Just remember that the duty personnel, teachers have a 7.5-hour work day, but the duty personnel get paid an additional small stipend, I believe it's $10 a day, for a 20-minute duty. That happens before the start of the school day. So that, we use those duty positions to be able to give us some flex time for those buses. And so buses, like on Thursdays, are going to arrive much earlier at the Great Works School and Central School, whereas on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, they might be 7 or 8 minutes late. So those duties allow us some flexibility transportation-wise, so that we're not having to monkey around too much with the start of the school days. And so that's what we're going to do. I just want to share that with you. It should not cause any issues, because the transportation times do not change. It's kind of what we're doing anyway, but we're basically going to kick the end of the school day out an additional 5 minutes. Any questions? Sorry if that was a wordy explanation.
No, it's good, makes sense.
I wanted to propose something, and we're putting this together, and you might say, no, thank you. You might say, oh, this is neat. Those of you who are not aware, our athletic enterprise account we've invested some of that money into an outdoor climbing course that's located at Marshwood High School. And so we really are trying to incorporate the Project Adventure experience at Marshwood High School now. We do have the indoor climbing course at Marshwood Middle School. My plan is to do a 3-hour kind of group team building activity with the administrators on Friday, August 16th from 8 to 11 o'clock, and I would like to know if any board members would like to attend. And this is just an opportunity to kind of work in an environment, to build that sense of team, be able to get to know people a little bit differently, and just be able to be a part of kind of that 3-day retreat that we're having. So if you'd like to come, let me know. If it's less than 3 people, it would not need to be a official board workshop. If it is less than 3 people, we'll post it as a if it is more than 3 people, if it's the 4, we have a quorum, then we'll post it as a workshop.
Okay.
Yeah. People from the public could be welcome to attend if it were a workshop. I'm sure they'd love to see people jumping off a belay line, but that's okay.
Oh my gosh.
So if people would like to do that, certainly I would love to invite all of you to attend. It could just be a neat experience. And it's also just a kind of an opportunity to kind of see people and how they learn and how they interact with others, and it just allows you to have maybe a little bit different perspective of the job that we all do. So I put that out to all of you.
I'm in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I cannot. I will be out of the country.
Okay.
That's a bummer. That sounds so fun.
I will tell you that our PE staff and a couple of staff members from the Great Works School and then the high school did a training with Project Adventure on how to use the course. We just want to make sure everybody's certified to do that. And I showed up with, I was with Ryan that day, and kind of like a peer pressure to going off the platform and jumping off. So I did it. I was a little nervous, but Renee had a chance to end it all, and she didn't. So that was good. So anyway.
You had Renee on
Yeah, it was interesting. Next, just an interesting environment right now with our pre-K enrollment at Elliott Elementary School. Our numbers are significantly down. I think Heidi and I went through it this morning, and we look like we're in the 37 range, which is pretty low for us. And so remember, each section of pre-K can have up to 16 students in it. So we have a spot for 64 students. We only have 36. We're about at half capacity. Obviously, we will take a certain number of out-of-district students to comply with state law. We already have the staffing in place. That's a revenue source for us to be able to do that. Even with that, we're still at 38 students. So I do expect that we'll probably have 4 or 5 more students kind of come in late, but we're not going to get above that 48 number in all likelihood. What I'm going to do is I am going to, I've spoken to the staff, but they've been fantastic, is that we are really one of the leading schools when it comes to our work with CDS. And so we're bringing our 4 and 5-year-olds in early, be able to have had some special needs and be able to work with those kids in our schools. And so we are trying to expand that program. We're going to become one of the charter schools when it comes to our work with the state of Maine as they kind of talk about the CDS merger with the schools. And so one of our teachers is going to not teach one of the afternoon sections, is going to actually work with the CDS pre-K classroom. And so she may work with kids doing special design instruction in her classroom. She may migrate into Nancy Leary's classroom, or she may work with Jackie Curtis in Jackie Curtis's classroom. This all will receive state funding for that person, so this is a cost savings for the district, and it's also, more importantly, better for all of our students. There's also halftime ed tech that will be in the same situation, so we'll only have 3 sections of pre-K, 2 morning sections, 1 afternoon section, and that'll give us about 48 spots. If for some unknown reason, 20 people show up out of nowhere and we have to make the change, we'll certainly make the change at that point, and we're not going to expend any more money. But I think, I'm really working hard around these class sizes to ensure that we're being as economically mindful as we can as we go forward. And we're also, I've talked about the billing, that we're, looking for billing and special education services through Maine Care, partnering with the state of Maine around the CDS. It creates a revenue source, so we're really trying to investigate any revenue sources that we can to provide financial relief for the community. Any questions about that? Number 5, we've already talked about.
Yes.
The last thing I just would say, and I think this is exciting news, and I may have shared this, Joe, with you already, but I did get a note back from the town of South Berwick that they will be doing an additional traffic survey out in front of Marshwood High School as a result of some of the hard work that Jennifer Janella put together through the town of South Berwick. I shared with you the letter that I had written to the state of Maine regarding that.
Yes.
So I think that's great news. Hopefully that will be enough to at least create some type of traffic relief. I am very, very concerned about kids walking across that street, running across that street, going to Aubrey's to get a cup of coffee, or going to Grit to be able to go over there and to work out after school, which is happening more and more, or even kids pulling out that traffic is 55 miles an hour in front of the high school. So anything that we can do to lessen that burden would be great and keep our kids safe.
For sure.
So I just really appreciate the work the town of South Berwick has done. Really have.
Did you say when that will happen, the survey?
In the fall.
Okay.
That's what we have so far. So.
That's great.
Good.
Amazing.
Okay.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you. No correspondence upon which to report. Committee reports. FNF was supposed to meet earlier this evening, but didn't because the auditors were not ready to present. We did, however, have a meeting on June 24th that was after our last regular board meeting. So I'll do a real quick presentation on what was discussed at that, if I can remember any of it. I took notes. It was a review of the May numbers. The cash flow was good. Food service was in a good place. Adult education was on that glide path back toward break even. Federal grants started to come in, but the cash balance was good. And yeah, I think that was the summary of the numbers. We were at a good place in terms of percent of budget spent and remaining. Facility updates, the paint robot had showed up. The work on the Marshwood High School entrance was scheduled to begin that week. It has since begun, so that's good. And we, as you mentioned, the clock tower, we were anticipating the start of that work as well. Transportation update, the fact that we had hired the new transportation director, and the new bus for next year had been ordered. SVPP grant, door controls will start installation. We paid an invoice, but we did need to borrow on our revenue anticipation note in order to complete it. Grant reimbursement has been applied for. Food service update, the FY25 application was being worked on, including funding for the summer programming. And that was it. Okay. That was also a long time ago. Ed policy. Next meeting is September 25th. You have not met since our last meeting, so nothing to report on tonight. And similarly, Wellness and SEL will next meet on September 4th. That concludes our committee reports and brings us to new business. We have a small number of nominations. May I have a motion, please, to approve the nomination of Jocelyn Hargis?
Go ahead.
I'll move to approve the nomination of Jocelyn Hargis, first-year probationary teacher, grade 3, EES, Elliott Elementary School, school year 2024 to 25. MA 07, 61,171, prorated to start 11/12/24.
Second, Jen?
Jen, thank you. John?
So Jocelyn will be teaching third grade at Elliott Elementary School. She has a master's in education from the University of New England, and also has a Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Studies from the University of Southern Maine. She's taught at Lyman Elementary School as a third grade teacher and also worked at Coastal Ridge Elementary School. So this position is a little strange, and so let me go through that with
The
you.
timing.
Yeah, the timing of it. And so we have hired Ann Schlissler to be principal. And so the 12th of November will be when Jocelyn will replace Ann as the teacher in that classroom. And so that will be the point when we start to transition Ann into being the principal of the building. What we will do from the first day of school to the 12th of November is that Jocelyn will work as a full-time sub for us. And so if there's a substitute position that if someone's out for long term, she'll do that. If not, it'll be a great opportunity to be in Ann's classroom, working together to get to know the kids, be a part of the parent-teacher conferences, and really take on that role. So I'm really excited that we found such a quality person to be able to be in that position and to make this. It's really a unique situation that I put us in, but I think we have a great solution.
That's
So.
great.
That's good. Questions or comments from the board? All in favor? That is 4-0. Thank you. And a motion, please, with regard to the nomination of Dana Landry.
I move we approve the nomination of Dana Landry, first-year probationary teacher, grade 3, Elliott Elementary School, school year 2024-2025, master step 12, 70,940.
Second, Jen?
Jen, thank you. John?
So Dana has a Master's in Science and Education from the University of Southern Maine and the Bachelor's of Elementary Education from the University of Maine at Farmington. She is currently a second grade teacher at North Berwick Elementary School and has been a special education technician at North Berwick Elementary School. So really excited to have Dana joining us, lives in the community, an outstanding teacher. Heidi had the opportunity to work with Dana when she was at 60, and so just really excited to be able to have such a wonderful candidate joining Elliott Elementary School.
Questions?
Again, as a third grade teacher.
Mhm. All in favor? 4-0. Very good. That concludes our new business. We have no check-in of administrators tonight since it's a summer meeting. Any last comments from actually, you look like you have a last
I
comment.
have a last comment.
Go right ahead,
I'm sure that shocks you tremendously. And so, Joe, yourself, Kate, and Heather and I will be meeting with Ryan as we kind of have a little bit of a workshop as we start to prepare for the negotiations with Rollinsford.
Yes.
And so I believe that is scheduled to be August 13th is when we will sit down with the Rollinsford board.
Yes.
To have this conversation. I think we're sitting down the 6th. I'm shooting off the hip right now, so forgive me if it's wrong.
I have it as Wednesday the 7th.
Wednesday the 7th.
In my
we're meeting on
calendar.
Wednesday the 7th, and that's for us a chance
That's
to kind of talk about
our committee.
our committee
Yeah,
talk
right.
about the work that we want to do.
And then
some of the
the
ideas we'll share.
Tuesday the 13th with Rollinsford.
That's correct.
Yes,
The
okay,
16th
good.
there, so, okay.
Good. Okay, any other comments for the board? I just wanted to throw in real quick, President talking at 8 o'clock, excellent, but at 9 o'clock, the Nova is showing on GBH or whatever the public TV is, the first of a two-part series called Sea Change, which is about the Gulf of Maine. And what's happening with climate change in the Gulf of Maine. So I thought, local interest, might want to check it out.
You should. And
Educational?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
You have to make the motion.
You have to make the motion.
Oh, I have to?
Yes.
Okay, the last hire, yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? That's 4-0, we are adjourned.
Thank you.